Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind me. I'm just doing a light little snack. Um, it's your favorite sorcerer here, Michael Hyson, aka Angelus, son of Abaddon. And tonight I'd like to discuss ritual sacrificing. Now, when people hear this, their minds go to sacrificing of animals or perhaps babies or human sacrificing of some kind. They think that it is a violent act, such as premeditated or things that deal with criminal activities. Okay. Now, ritual sacrificing has nothing to do with criminal activity, as you're led to believe. You look at any tradition out there, you're going to see something that has been carried on and passed down through absolute, carefully instructed sacrificing ritual techniques. In necromancy, you have blood sorcery, Satanism, blood sorcery, and offerings, pagan and Wiccan practicing the sacrificing of materials such as cakes and wine. Okay, these are offerings. Now, what is the difference between an offering and a gift? A gift is something that you give freely. Okay, like say some of your own blood. Okay. Now you'll notice I've been doing a lot of that lately. Okay. I've been doing a lot of blood sorcery. I've been doing a lot of necromantic workings. I've been doing a lot of stuff within the terms of blood sorcery offerings and gifts to the ancient gods. Now, this is going to be a surprise to a lot of individuals out there who watch a video like this. Now, I'm not going to hide from the ugly stuff as well. All right. I'm going to discuss it with you and to break it down. In hoodooism, voodooism, Palo Mayumbi, Santa Morte, Santeria, Quimbanda, and Umbanda, going all the way back to at least 5 or 600 years. The African based traditions utilize the safe harboring of animals. Okay. Now this may come as a surprise as well, is that they actually take very good care of the animals to which is going to be sacrificed. You see, in America today, abuse or animal sacrificing has been outlawed. This is something that is also associated with defilement of corpses and also that of graveyard robbing, things of that nature that have been outlawed. Even in Malawi, it has been outlawed. Okay, criminal activity. That is why they have a special department to hunt down practitioners, such as the Bokor. Okay, now the church used to utilize what is known as witch hunters. These witch hunters would use techniques that would help them find witches, warlocks, sorcerers, and sorcerers alike that practice certain techniques of animal or human sacrificing. Okay. Signs of animals. skins, carcasses being found. Some of them, well, most of them are found within, say, setups of black magic rituals, things that have been found by law enforcement. You go underneath Google alone and you type in black magic or demonic sorcery, and you're going to come across videos documented between healers, Christian ministers, and people of historical value that go into regions of the world to sacrifice, not to sacrifice themselves, but to investigate such criminal activity. Such, to most people of today, would be considered heinous crimes. In voodoo traditions, I've literally seen videos where they've stretched a dog out and cut off its head and used the blood on the altar itself. I have watched videos of individuals, Satanists in particular, who literally have bled upon the altar. Okay. I have seen rituals in voodoo, specifically that of Africa, Ethiopian region, and Congo regions of Africa, where people would drink goat's urine, smear the feces on the face, and sacrifice chickens. Okay. Much of voodoo and hoodooism, going all the way from Africa into Cuban and South American practices, all the way up in through Central and North American practices. These things do happen. Now, people are shocked and astonished that this stuff happens, that it actually takes place in their own backyards. Okay. But these practices have actually been watered down over the years. It used to be that you nail a rat to a door. He would paint a symbol, letting people know that that individual has been sacrificed, that their soul has been taken, that the individual had been marked, their soul taken and given to Baron Samedi, okay? Or that of, say, Anubis, Hecate, Isis, even Inti, the sun god in Inca province. You look at the Aztecs and what they've done through animal and human sacrificing. You go into Druidism, the human sacrificing there. Not just over in the Welsh, such as England, or that of modern day Lebanon. Yes, Lebanon. Okay, Lebanon. Namely Beirut, their capital city, which sits at the end of a major ley line. Now, this ley line literally goes through Stonehenge in England and ends right here in the United States in Salem, New Hampshire. Okay? Stonehenge in both England and here in the United States. Imagine that. And they've actually found that these little traits, these little trays or nudges, were meant for blood that went down into the crevices and down underneath the altar to where somebody was waiting to collect the blood for further ritual. Okay? In Aztec and that of Incan type rituals, you'll notice where they've ripped the beating hearts out of their sacrifices' chests, be it human, be it animal. Both human and animal sacrificings go through multiple different regions of the world. It is a tradition that has been long, long reigning within any religious or philosophical pursuit of magic or even communing with the gods. When you go into biblical, Abraham sacrificing his son, this is Canaanite, okay, which used to be known as Chaldeans. Ooh, hello, Chaldeans. Boom, right there. Okay. Now, you go even further. Go into that of the book of Leviticus, also known as the book of the law. Bam! We see animal sacrificing, not just the burn or sin offerings, but that of the lots taking place of one being sent out into the desert to Azazel and another being slaughtered, its carcass burned in the fire, its entrails landing or being placed on an altar, the blood being savored and put into a jar, okay, as an offering to their God. Now, if you think this is all gruesome, you might want to get away from the occult. You might want to turn away from any religious or philosophical practices. Even today, the JCI has their own version of sacrifice, human sacrificing. They utilize drones. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. He's the only way, but yet you can't do it on your own. They literally break you down and then recreate you in their image. Okay? You give up everything. And I mean everything. You give up cell phones, you give up TV, video games, you leave your little mundane life behind. And that's just if you're following the apostolics, where women, that's right, women become second class citizens. They can't even wipe their own asses without having to report to their husbands. Okay? Now, let's look at this for an example. This little ritual goes all the way back to 500 and beyond 550 BC. Okay. Now, what's interesting to note about this is that in the pre Roman Empire, or the pre Italian Empire, I should say, you'll notice that this same thing applies in the old tribes, right there in Italy. And it's been carried on throughout the ages till today, and people still believe in it. Okay. So having sacrificing being done, okay, no matter what kind of sacrifice it is, if it's blood sorcery, if it's human or animal, it's the same old stuff. 500 years ago, you had grave robbing, okay, associated with what you know today as House of Frankenstein or that of Frankenstein's monster. You go into necromancy, you have skulls, bones, and blood, and all that other fun stuff. You go into black magic, you go into voodoo, hoodoo, you go into any philosophical or religious foundation, you're going to find these type of things happening. The world likes to be ignorant about it. They like to be believing in the Judo-Christian foundation of, oh, he's the only way. But yet they know nothing about true sacrifice. They don't know what it's like to have to eat a certain thing because of the path that you walk. Okay. They may do probably once a year do what is known as the Daniel fast. Okay. And you can actually type that into Google and it'll bring it right up underneath biblical scriptures. I believe it's under the book of Acts, if I remember correctly. It's where you eat nothing but the foods or the fruits of the earth. You eat no meat. It's kind of like doing push-ups off your knees if you consider it that way. And I noticed my brother Behemoth X is on. By the way, saw your video, loved it. That Diamond video, incredible, brother. Incredible. Always astonished at the results you're getting. You're welcome. Now, when we get into this type of thing, when you're doing push-ups in an exercise or say in gym, women get to do it off their knees because they don't have the upper body strength. Well, apparently they haven't seen China from WWE. You know what I'm saying? But still, women get off scot-free and considered to be the lesser sex. Therefore, it is a sacrifice that people are willing to make. Okay? Same thing with diets. Same thing with foods and rituals. There's always a substitute for everything nowadays. Okay? You can go to Luciferian Apotheca and order a ceramic skull. Okay, you can go to eBay, Amazon. You can go to some kind of modern day, what do they call those? Metaphysical stores. And you can pick up things that have been created or man made. All right. These are not sacrifices. These are not considered, well, unless you count your bank account, I should say, because that's basically all that is that I guess that would be considered a sacrifice because you're spending a lot of money on something that really shouldn't be more than probably like $10 max. Okay. Now you take consider when you go to get the Baphomet statue from say asargreen.net, you're paying like $74. Okay. Go to eBay, you're probably looking at 1,000. Okay. Now what's funny is that when E.A. Coetting came out with the book The Grimoire of Azazel, okay, everybody wanted it, but yet only a few select individuals managed to get their hands on it. All right. But yet it was soon after that that you go on eBay, you go underneath Amazon. You got people selling it for anywhere from $200 to $500. You go underneath eBay and somebody's got it on there literally for $1 million. It's like who the hell has that kind of money nowadays? Yeah, exactly. So in a sense, that would be classified as a sacrifice because if you're willing to put out that amount of money, now this is the way it's put today, and I actually heard this from several different practitioners, is that there is no amount of money that you're not willing to spend if you're a true practitioner. Well, I look at my personal library that I built up twice. That's right, twice. I've probably got roughly around $600 to $900 worth of books right now. About 2 grand in my last one put in. So in a sense, I could see that is a form of sacrifice. Giving something up for something better. Okay. So when we get into any form of ritual sacrificing, you can prick. I've seen people prick their fingers, the third finger on the hand, the ring finger, and drop blood on a parchment or scroll. I have seen people place blood, their own blood, as in slitting their forearms and bleeding on an altar. In a sense, this is their sacrificing. You can use that parchment, keep it on the wall, keep it on your altar. You can even burn it and send it to the gods within a form of, say, for an example, an offering, a ritual offering, a ritual sacrifice. When you curse or hex somebody, what do you think you're doing? Hey, John, what's going on, brother? What do you think's going on when you utilize the photo of an individual? Okay. On Facebook and social media, it doesn't matter what photo you use. Okay? It's tied into your energy because you put your energy into it. Therefore, by utilizing that photo, or at least the photo of the individual, you're sacrificing them. You're committing an act of ritual sacrificing because you're offering these individuals to your gods. They've wronged you. It's that eye for an eye thing. Eye for eye, blood for blood, bone for bone. Even the Bible says that. But yet they supposedly don't condone turning the other cheek. Whereas in Satanism, if you're smashed in the left, smash them in the right. Hmm. Interesting how that goes, right? But what about actual sacrificing of the practitioner? What would you sacrifice? How would you sacrifice it? There are many different ways. You could always put in your time and effort, commune with them. Take 30 minutes every day. Just contemplate, bring them up in your thoughts. Say, good morning, Paimon, or good morning, Satan. Good morning, Lilitu. Good morning, Erishkigal, Inanna, Isis, Anubis, Inti, Supe. It doesn't matter the god or goddess, be it Djinn or Ugan, Loa or Damon. It does not matter. As long as you keep them in your thoughts and you're giving them both an offering and you're sacrificing of your time. It is the same thing when you go in, prepare yourself to go from the outer sanctum and into the inner sanctum to do rituals. You pay that homage, the sacrificing or the shedding of blood, tears, hard work. Put your all into it. Put your ka into it. Okay? In necromancy, there's a lot of things that we use. Bones, divination, to try to understand what the gods are saying. Utilizing the spirits through forms of chiromancy, cartomancy, even. Utilize pyro or hydromancy, geomancy. Okay? Utilizing the bones, the seven forbidden arts. Okay? Or I should say, what is now known as the seven forbidden arts, to do these rituals, to get ourselves in line with the energies and the currents of these individuals. You know, I was actually contemplating this while watching Bophemet X's video tonight. Aligning yourself with the currents and opening yourself up to those energies, those currents, to those consciousness of those beings. That is a form of ritual sacrifice. The sacrificing of giving up control. I mean, think about it. We live in a small world, a small, little, puny little world. Reality. But yet, when we give up that control, we allow ourselves to be taken over by these beings, to commune and to allow our energies to connect. It's just like connecting with your significant other, just on a much bigger aspect. Sumnus Redwood, you know, he actually said it best. And he said the current, when you get in touch, I'm going to use my own words in this, by the way. When you allow these beings into your life, you're giving up a lot. You're giving up the distractions. You're giving up a lot of things. You're putting your all into these rituals. You're going to have distractions. You're going to have a career. You got to make a living. Okay, this is what he said. This is his words. Okay. Now, when we look at any given path, what is the one thing that every path has in common? Initiation and dedication, rituals and rites, the offerings, communions, the blessings, and sometimes, the cursings, depending on what you're doing and how much you're putting into it. A lot of individuals think that getting into black magic or any form of magic, they're just looking for that quick fix. There really is no quick fix in magic. I was talking with a friend of mine and potential apprentice earlier today, and I told him it's not about how fast you get there. It really is not. You got your entire life to master the skills of a sorcerer or sorceress. You don't have to sit there and go, okay, command you to give me this. That's like saying, will you bitch slap me across the face? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're disrespecting the beings we work with. And when you call upon these beings and ask them for something, they're expecting something in return. They're expecting it in return. And that's something that a lot of people are not prepared for. They don't want to give up their lives. They want to have their cake and eat it too. You cannot live in both worlds. It's like, what's that old saying in the Bible? Oh, right. You can't serve two masters. You'll end up loving the one and hating the other, or hating the other and loving the one. It's the exact same thing. So you got to apply yourself 150%. Immerse yourself, become obsessed with it. Allow the possession to take place. In my own personal rituals as of late, there's been a lot of things opening up, a lot of things that I'm not going to discuss here, namely because of the fact that it's between me and them, the old ones, but most importantly, it's the oath that I've taken when I began this journey with them. You're going to find times of trials. You're going to find things going good. I know a month or two ago, a few months ago, I was really going through a hard time financially. But then things got worse. So a lot of people are telling me, "Hey, work with this being, work with that being." And I tried them out and no results turned up. None whatsoever. But then I started doing things my way. I started conjuring and working with these beings. And all of a sudden, guess what? I asked for one thing in particular, that anything that is not beneficial to me or my family be removed. And the result of that was the rent went up over $1,000 US for a one-bedroom apartment. But then I got a massive surprise on top of that. And yes, it was a beneficial surprise because the monthly pay went up as well, which was awesome. Because on one hand, it kind of sucked that the rent went up, but hey, guess what? There's a blessing over here. And working with these beings and doing ritual sacrificing, even if it's prayer, even if it's just thinking about them in a run of a day, putting up seals and wardings and protection and all that other stuff, and then working with them, trusting in them. aligning yourself with them. These are ritual sacrifices that we make, that we do. It's not just about what the world believes or perceives that we do, because they've heard these stories, that they've heard these myths and these things that go bump in the night, going all the way back to the Dark Ages, the dark forest, the howling, and the witches dancing around a fire, people going missing, to perhaps late 18 or 1990s, late 1980s, there we go, and the early 1990s, what is known as the Satanic Panic, okay, where every crime that was committed was pointed at a Satanist. This is fear driven. And yes, this is kind of what a lot of people in just about every tradition, style, and formulation of magic has to deal with. But there are ways to keep it at bay, and you got to learn these things. And that's something that a lot of people sadly don't get into. You can sit there and guide them all day long. But do you know how many actually do it? Probably about 1% out of 100, 2 max. And that's the sad part, because everybody's too afraid. They're either lying to you or they're sitting there going, well, you know what? I'm going to take this guy's advice and I'm going to turn it against him, playing that devil's advocate. Well, guess what? What did I just talk about? Putting up seals and wardings and reversal magics, and putting in play things like the Gorgons, the Fates, and the Furies in the form of protection, much like the ancient Jews used to do with the golems, or the Boko in Haitian Voodoo, utilizing zombies. You go out throughout the world, you're going to see the Wraith, the Sentinel, the Ghoul, the Vampire, the Lycan, all agents of death, even the Angel of Death, the Angel of the Bottomless Pit, Apollyon or Abaddon, okay, in more modern day practice. They're right there, real size, but you gotta be able to put them up. You gotta work with them constantly. What's that old saying in Santa Morte? Oh, right. She's a very demanding goddess. Hmm. Don't you think your practices should be too? Is that equality, that doorway goes both ways? I've always told my apprentices and my students, what you put in is what you get out. Now, with that said, I'm going to end this video. I hope it's been educational. I hope it's been enlightening. And as usual, if you wish to contact me and ask questions, you can do so here, or you can contact me through Facebook. All right? It may take a little bit of time because I do have a family and a life. Okay? Just like other people. And sometimes I forget there's another aspect to the messenger, but still, I do get there eventually. But I will always make myself available to the public. All right? With that said, have a good night, and until next time, enjoy.